What's up, folks? It's the Sportsbook Killer. We got UFC Fight Night Vegas 90. We're going to start with the bantamweights, the women's bantamweight. Melissa Mullins is going to be battling Nora Canole. I got to go with Nora Canole on this one. Both of these ladies can box. Melissa Mullins' boxing really did impress me. She has a phenomenal jab, and her boxing is pretty crisp. But Nora Canole has so many different weapons. I mean, she can take it to the ground. She can grind you on the fence. And she's a versatile striker with good leg kicks. So I'm going to be going with Nora Canole on this one to win. And I'm going to be betting the prop bet that the fight starts the second round. Next fight, we got the men's middleweights. We got Dylan Budka going up against Cesar Almeida. Cesar Almeida is a kickboxer turned mixed martial artist. And this is going to be interesting because in kickboxing, Cesar Almeida did beat Alex Pereira. So this is going to be a very interesting fight. I'm going to be going with Dylan Budka. I'm not crazy about the way Dylan Budka fights, but he's not really a striker. His boxing isn't good. All he does is grapple. That's pretty much it. So if Cesar Almeida does not land a kick or a punch to KO him, he's going to end up getting pinned up on the fence until he gets taken down. And by then, I think Dylan Budka, he's a big guy. He actually cut down from heavyweight to middleweight. So he is a big dude. So if he grabs a hold of Almeida, it's going to be very interesting. But I got to go with Dylan Budka on this one. Next fight, we got the bantamweights. Dan Argueta going up against Jean Matsumoto. Matsumoto is new to the UFC. I believe this is going to be his UFC debut. Dan Argueta has had some fights in the UFC, and he's been pretty good. His wrestling is really good. He has a really strong ground game. I've seen him reverse Damon Jackson, who's a very veteran UFC fighter, and he reversed him on the ground a few times in their fight. Dan Argueta is nothing to play with on the ground, and Jean Matsumoto is a jiu-jitsu brown belt, so this is going to be real interesting if this fight goes to the ground. But I'm going to take the upset here. I'm going to take Dan Argueta to win, and I'm going to take the prop bet that the fight starts the second round and that the fight starts the third round. I'm not going to go too crazy on Dan Argueta because he's not one of my stronger fighters, but I'll sprinkle a little something, put him in a parlay here and there and see what he does. Next fight, we got the strawweights, women's strawweights. We got Piera Rodriguez going up against Cynthia Calvillo. Now, this is very interesting because I know a lot of people are going to beat me up in the comment section because I'm taking Cynthia Calvillo for this fight. And the reason why I'm taking her is because she has major UFC experience. She's been in there with some of the best of them, and she's fought really well. Some of those fights actually could have gone either way, but she has lost her last 5 fights. But I think because some of those fights were so close is the reason why she still has her job in the UFC. So I'm going to be taking Cynthia Calvillo to win. Pierre Rodriguez, her takedowns are weak, her ground game's weak, and her boxing's weak. She's a jiu-jitsu blue belt, but I watched her fights, and I'm just not impressed with what I'm seeing. So I think that Cynthia Calvillo, coming in as the underdog, I still think she wins this fight. I still think she wins. And I'm also going to take the over 1.5 and over 2.5 round props. So, yeah, Cynthia Calvillo to win and over 1.5 and over 2.5 round props. Next fight. This was a last-second replacement fight. We got Pedro Falco. He's going up against Victor Hugo. Victor Hugo was supposed to fight Alateng Haley, but somehow last minute he got replaced with Pedro Falco. So it's going to be Pedro Falco battling Victor Hugo. Both of these guys are pressure fighters. Both of these guys are jiu-jitsu black belts, and both of these guys have great grappling, good takedowns, and phenomenal ground games. It's pretty much even as far as the sports book lays it out. So they're both at -110. This is a tough one. I more than likely will kind of stay away from it, but if I was going to bet on it, I would more than likely take Victor Hugo. And the only reason I will is because Victor Hugo is the former no-gi jiu-jitsu champ. So I would take a chance on him to see if he could get it done. But both of these guys are relentless grapplers, and they're very evenly matched. But we'll see who's the superior grappler this Saturday night. But I'm going to kind of stay away from this one. But like I said, if I was betting, I would more than likely take Victor Hugo. And I wouldn't put a whole lot on him because Pedro Falco has a really good ground game. Next fight. We got the bantamweight women's division. We got Norma Dumont going up against Jermaine de Randami. Now, this is interesting. De Randami hasn't fought in a little while, but she's good. She's good. She has a very good stand-up game, very good striking, and she's a Muay Thai fighter. Norma Dumont is a jiu-jitsu purple belt with very fast hands, very good boxing, good takedowns, and a great ground game. So I'm going to take Norma Dumont, and the reason I'm going to take Norma Dumont is because I think she'll be able to mix up the boxing with the grappling. That's it. I think she'll be able to pin de Randami against the cage and gain some cage control, but I also think she'll mix in those fast hands in boxing, and I think that'll give her the edge. I think she'll win probably maybe a close decision, maybe 29-28 on all judges' scorecards. I could see that. So I'm definitely going to bet that the fight goes the distance. I'm going to take the over 1.5 round prop and the over 2.5 round prop in this one. I don't see either woman getting stopped or stopping the other because they're both very good defensive fighters. So Norma Dumont to win, over 1.5 round prop, over 2.5 round prop. Next fight, we got Court McGee. He's going to be battling Alex Morano. Court McGee is 39 years old. Good grappler, though. Very, very good grappler. I'm going to go with Alex Morano in this one. I love his boxing. I love his kickboxing. He's a jiu-jitsu black belt, and he's a taekwondo black belt. Alex Morano's a very hard puncher, and he has really good boxing. So I'm going to go with him because Court McGee has been knocked out in his last 2 fights, and he's been knocked out in the first round of both of those fights. Though Court McGee does have good takedowns, Alex Morano is no joke on the ground, and he can submit pretty much anybody from his back. So I'm going to go with Alex Morano, and I'm going to go with the prop bet that the fight starts the 2nd round, and I'm also going to take the prop bet that the fight starts the 3rd round. Next fight, we got the lightweights. We got Trevor Peek. He's going to be battling Charlie Campbell. Now, this is going to be a fight. Whatever you guys do, wherever you are, do not miss this fight. This is going to be good. Trevor Peek has hands of stone. Charlie Campbell has hands of stone. These guys got thunder in their gloves. They can hit. They can hit, and they don't play. They're both pressure fighters. They both come forward, and they both look to KO their opponent. So in this one, I'm going to go with Charlie Campbell because out of both hard punchers, Charlie Campbell has that one hitter quitter. I mean, he lands that right hand, and it's like night-night. Trevor Peek can punch, and I got a strong feeling Trevor Peek's going to probably come in and start doing a little grappling because he's going up against a guy who can hit him back just as hard as he hits guys or even harder. So I'm going to go with Charlie Campbell on this one. I'm going to give him the edge because of his punching power. And I'm probably going to throw a little something on the under 2.5 round prop. And for people who want to bet on a knockout in this one, I fully understand. Either one of these guys lands and it's lights out. So this fight will more than likely come down to whoever lands first. Trevor Peek's grappling is good, but Charlie Campbell's defensive wrestling is good as well. So I think it'll be a stand-up fight, and I think it's going to be whoever gets clipped first. You know, I think that's what it's going to come down to. So I'm taking Charlie Campbell and under 2.5 round prop. Next fight. We got Walter Walker. He's undefeated, new to the UFC. Big guy, 6'6", and he's a 3-1 favorite over Lucas Dreski. this is an interesting fight because I'm trying to figure out how this guy Walker became such a favorite over Lucas Dresky. I don't understand it. I've looked at his fights. I don't see anything that this man does that's special or just says he can just come into the UFC and KO somebody. I just don't see it. I just don't see it in his fights. So I'm going to take the upset in this one. I'm going to take Lucas Dresky. Lucas Dresky isn't the strongest UFC fighter, but he has a pretty good kickboxing game, and he's a very hard puncher. So I think this is going to be interesting because from what I've seen of Walker, he has very poor cardio and a very weak ground game. And to be such a big man and not be able to hold his opponent down, that's just suspect. So I'm going to be going with Lucas Dresky to pull off the upset here. And if I'm proven wrong by Walker, okay, I'll stand corrected. But I just don't see anything in his previous fights that say bet on him. So Lucas Dresky is the pick on this one. Next fight, we got the lightweights, Ignacio Bahamondes. I love this guy's kickboxing. And he's going to be fighting Christos Giagos. I like Bahamondes. I love his kickboxing. Guy been kickboxing since he was a small kid. He is phenomenal with his hands and with his legs. He can kick. And he has great cardio. Very versatile striker. I think he wins this fight, and I could definitely see this fight going over 1.5 rounds. So I'm taking Ignacio Bahamondes to win, and I'm taking the over 1.5 round prop to go with it. Next fight, we got Morgan Charrier going up against Chepe Mariscal. Now I'm looking forward to this fight. Chepe Mariscal is good. I love the way this guy fights. I just do. Morgan Charrier is a good fighter. He's a pressure fighter. He's a hard puncher, really good cardio. And he has really good takedown defense. Chepe Mariscal, he is a judo black belt. He beat Trevor Peek for one, and nobody expected that. They thought Trevor Peek would get in there and knock this guy out, and he beat Trevor Peek. He's a Japanese jiu-jitsu black belt, and he's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu purple belt. I'm going to go with Mariscal because he has upset a lot of people in the UFC. And this guy, he is a phenomenal fighter. I'm going to take Chepe Mariscal to win, and I'm going to take the prop that the fight starts the second round. So I'm thinking Mariscal will pull off this upset. Next fight, we got the featherweights. Alexander Hernandez going up against Damon Jackson. Now, this one people might hate me for and I'm not even liking myself for picking this, but I looked at both of these guys' fights, and Alexander Hernandez versus Damon Jackson. Let me start again. Alexander Hernandez, he's a versatile striker. He has KO power, very good boxing, but a very weak ground game. Damon Jackson has very good takedowns, a great ground game, poor cardio, but good boxing as well. It's going to be a question of whether Alexander Hernandez can catch him. If he catches him before the takedown, Damon Jackson goes to sleep. But if Damon Jackson gets the takedown, the more he rides Alexander Hernandez, the more fatigue Alexander Hernandez will get. So I'm going to take Damon Jackson to pull off the upset and win this, and I'm going to take the prop bet that the fight starts the second round. Next fight, we have the main event. Brendan Allen going up against Chris Curtis. This one's interesting because Chris Curtis has KO'd Brendan Allen before. But Brendan Allen, his game has grown leaps and bounds above what he used to be. This guy he's become a phenomenal mixed martial artist. Chris Curtis is pretty much predictable. He comes forward, he boxes, he's more of a counter puncher. He has KO power, no question about that. He's a jiu-jitsu purple belt. He has good cardio, very good boxing, but he has a very low punch output and a very low kick output. He usually waits for you to do something, and then he does something after that. So Brendan Allen, this guy's jiu-jitsu is off the charts. He's a jiu-jitsu black belt. He actually submitted Paul Craig, the jiu-jitsu master, and he submitted Paul Craig. So That should say it all right there. He has a great ground game. He's a versatile striker, very hard striker. He can stand and bang too. But it just so happens that Chris Curtis caught him last time and put him to sleep. So, but Brendan Allen does have a pretty strong chin, which tells you Chris Curtis hits pretty hard. But I'm going to put my money on Brendan Allen this time. I'm thinking he'll get Chris Curtis in the rematch here. Also, Chris Curtis has been in a lot of wars, and his body doesn't look like it's necessarily responding as fast as it's probably going to need to against Brendan Allen, because Brendan Allen can snatch up a submission so fast. If he gets your back, he can get a submission. If he gets you down on that mat, he can snatch up a submission really quick. So I'm going to take Brendan Allen to win, and I'm going to also take a chance and sprinkle a little something on that fight starts the second round prop. DraftKings has that. I don't know which betting platform you guys bet on, but DraftKings has the round props. So I'll be betting that the fight starts the second round, and I'll be taking Brendan Allen to win. Hey, good luck this Saturday, folks. Take your time. Try to do 2-pick parlays, no more than 3-pick parlays, and let's get this money. I look forward to hearing from y'all. Look forward to hearing from you guys in the comments section when y'all collecting that money. Y'all take care.